Hello and welcome to another amazing part of What If Garp Changed the Future? Professional Ranter wrote this amazing story. Please support them. Don't forget to like, sub, and leave a comment. Now let's dive in. Akainu looked at his new office, the office of the Fleet Admiral. He had dreamed of this day and it was finally here. Taking a seat behind his rightful desk, he got ready to institute the plans he had dreamed for the Marines to wipe pirates off the face of the world. Fleet Admiral, may I enter? A Marine knocked at the door. Enter, Akainu said at the interruption. The Marine entered and quickly saluted him. The resignations of Admiral Hina and her entire fleet have just been delivered, sir. What? Akainu slammed his fists on his desk as he stood up. The statement given as to why was the same for all. The Marine cleared his throat. The hidden murders of our fellow Marines and innocent people has broken any trust we have in the Marine institution. We will use the ships to go to Water 7 where you may then pick them up once former Admiral Hina's personal additions to the ships have been removed. Akainu growled at the loss of one of the most skilled Marine fleets. Prepare for a draft to be made, we will be mass recruiting. The Marine ran out and Akainu struggled to not smash his desk. His first official day and he was already having a disaster on his hands with the loss of one of the most skilled admirals and taking down pirates on the seas. What was worse though was how well liked she was by several kingdoms. Sitting back down he looked through what files were delivered there before his arrival. Nearly all of them were complaints from various kingdoms regarding the handling of where the Marines and warlords were sent, favoring what was best for the Five Elder and the Celestial Dragons over what was best for the kingdoms. Lighting his cigar, Akainu took a long drag of it and breathed the smoke out over his desk. Time to fix Sengoku's mess. Within Marie Geos, Kizaru walked through the halls of the Holy Land, the case that Vegapunk had given as well as the papers that would officially make him the scientist's official Marine representative. Walking into a small meeting area, Saturn stared at him with a critical eye as he stepped forward and placed both the case and the papers on the table in front of him. Carefully lifting the papers up, he read over them and nodded. A good choice. You'll be given a list of the Marines who will be receiving the devil fruits that you have delivered. Do you know what is within the case? No, Elder Saint Saturn. Kizaru kept his head bowed. I was instructed to not open it and simply deliver it alongside the crates to you. Good, seems despite your reputation you can listen to orders. Saturn opened the case and took Vegapunk's report out, quickly reading it over, so he had to use one of them on one of the slaves we gave him to see how well it worked. A good start on the data to be gathered for this new weapon. Saturn turned the case around so that Kizaru could see within. What do you see? Seeds, Elder Saint Saturn, Kizaru observed. Within the case were 9 large seeds, marked with a carving of a cat. There was an empty spot where a 10th seed would have resided. Saturn chuckled, somewhat accurate. No, these are devil seeds, an offshoot of devil fruits that gift similar powers. Kizaru's eyes widened in shock at the reveal as Saturn picked one of the seeds up to closely examine it. These are the feline devil seeds. From Vegapunk's examinations, eating one of these will randomly grant you parts of one of the feline devil fruits. It does not grant the power to transform, and the gifts cannot be hidden away, trapping them forever in a hybrid state. Inspired by the smile fruits that have been popular on the black market, but with a 100% success rate and powers given that are actually useful. The limit, however, is that it is only possible to make 10 for each category of devil fruit, with this set pulling from the feline devil fruits. But it does not take away the ability to swim, as a balance, since any who eat a devil seed will not be as powerful as those who eat the devil fruit from the same category. So, Marines will be able to have a fraction of a devil fruit's powers with these seeds, giving them an edge against our enemies. Kizaru nodded at the idea. Yes, and we will begin selecting Marines to eat smile fruits as well. Those that are successful will be put into squads under those who are given devil seeds. Saturn smirked as he laid his plan out. These Marine squads will be used to go after individual pirate crews while the primary Marine force handles the larger problems. Kizaru held back his personal thoughts built from Vegapunk's drunken rant about the smile fruit he had been subjected to during their little party. A sound plan, Elder Saint Saturn. Do you intend to recruit the creator of the smile fruits? For now, no. We will instead target deliveries of these fruits and confiscate them in order to obtain them. I have assigned the Heavenly Knight Figureland Shamrock to this task to start us off, Saturn informed Kizaru. He is the second in command. The task will be completed quickly. Once we have 5 squads, the task of gathering more smile fruits will be given to the Marines. And, Kizaru hesitated, what about those who consume unsuccessful smile fruits? They will remain at the position they were at when selected to eat the fruit. Saturn dismissed the concern. You may go now, The list of your tasks will be delivered shortly to your office. East Blue, Fusha Village. Sengoku laid back against a large rock on the beach, looking out at the horizon. You want to get ready to head out? I think it's about time to start seeing all those places we wanted to visit. Tsuru hummed. Yeah, it's gonna be nice to see everything. Do you think Yumi would still consider us friends? Were we ever her friends? Sengoku pondered the question. I hope we were, but I don't know. Why did it take a crisis of this magnitude, losing Garp as our brother-in-arms, to make us see the propaganda? Because Garp believed in the Marines more than both of us combined? Tsuru took a long drink of her beer. We thought that so long as he believed in it that it was still fine, that we were still in the right. I miss their singing, Sengoku sighed as he got to his feet. Let's go say bye to the kids. Paradise, Water 7. Frankie stepped off the Marine ship and back onto the grounds of Water 7. Icebug. We're back. He yelled out as his crew raced each other back to their yard. Icebug smiled widely. Frankie. He walked up to him and held his fist out that Frankie bumped his against. Wonderful job, and we're already getting word of other kingdoms that want to hire our dismantlers. Frankie laughed. I told you we would have this handled. Kaku. You coming to the first drop later? You bet, Frankie. Kaku chuckled as he picked up some of the wood that had just been delivered to take to his yard. Drinks are on you. Icebug started walking further into the city with Frankie keeping pace with him. We made some good progress on turning Water 7 into a ship and reclaiming the areas of the city lost to Aqua Laguna. We just need you and your dismantlers to help with the final touches before we begin the process. Think they're up to it? Oh please, they're up for any sort of a challenge. Frankie shook his head good-naturedly. Just give us the information and we'll get right to work. Mayor Icebug, Hina greeted him as she walked past the two secret brothers. Walking through the streets, she rounded a corner and sat down at a cafe's table across from Pell, one of the commanders of Alabastus Royal Army. What is your stance on Hina's offer? Pell nodded. His Majesty has agreed to take you and your men on to command Alabastus' new navy. However, he has requested for you to prove yourself worthy to be given a position amongst the royal commanders of Alabasta. An assurance to both him and the people that you will not sit on your laurels and will serve the kingdom. Hina accepts the condition proposed by His Majesty King Cobra. We will begin installation of equipment into ships so we may begin to prove ourselves. Hina shook Pell's hand. Would you like to meet Hina's crew? Pell smiled. Yes, I would. New World, the granting wish. Belmir and Garp looked out at a massive storm. The clouds did not move an inch from where they poured down rain. Lightning mainly struck at the edges of the storm, and the winds carried waves to several meters in the air. Is this our destination? Can I take command? Yeah, that's one of Ocean's storms, Garp sighed with a chuckle. Last time I let the winds be our navigator, Belmir grumbled as she got behind the wheel. Starting the announcement system up, it rang out over the ship. Everyone to your stations. We're heading into a god storm. Garp was joined by most of the others on the deck. What can you tell us about Ocean? Alvia asked as Kuzan carefully balanced himself with his ice prosthetics. She caught him just before he fell and helped him sit down. You'll get your sea legs back, you're too stubborn not to. Ocean, our relationship is complicated. Garp scratched the back of his head awkwardly. During our first life together, during my time as Eve, he and I were close. Were you married? Bogart asked. Yeah. I don't know how his feelings changed. Garp was extremely conflicted. As Adam and Eve, they had been closer than anything. Even when she died and he lived on, they were star-crossed. Then Odin forced them back to experiment on the first ever humans that the other pantheons based their own first humans off of, to discover what power created them. What he did discover from them allowed him to create the ritual that started the War of the Divine. The ritual that should a divine being kill another divine being, the powers of the slain shall be given to the slayer. They were freed as the others began their attack on Odin after he created chaos amongst the pantheons with the massacre of the gods of the dead. But the two had made a close friend during their imprisonment that was lost during the breakout. They had grown even deeper in love as they fought through the War of the Divine, until Eve sacrificed herself to stop Cthulhu. I don't know what we'll be dealing with. Just be ready. As Belmir began to circle the storm, looking at when the lightning struck, it was as though the lightning began to curve, creating an entrance for the granting wish. Drifting into the storm, it was as though whatever contained its might exploded out. The storm reached out, covering all of New World. Whitebeard looked at the storm's sudden appearance in shock. Big Mom tried to use her powers to take command of the storm, but for the first time she was refused. Kaido and Shanks chose to continue drinking. Then the storm went further, covering all of the north and west blues. The storm reached above the red line, covering all of Marie Geos. The 5 elders looked at the storm in worry, not knowing what this could mean. It reached down and covered all of paradise, the south blue and the east blue. In a single minute, the world was covered by the storm of a god. Belmir struggled to direct the ship against the waves, the churning of the sea pushing the ship in every direction except the light illuminating the island they were trying to get to. "Get the sails up. The winds are too strong for us to be able to use them," she yelled out, and the crew immediately got to work. "Kazan, try to use your ice to keep us steady." Kazan stumbled over and shot out some ice, only for lightning to strike and destroy it. "A fucking course," she cursed as she spun the wheel to keep them from capsizing. Garp jumped down from the mast as he finished tying the sails. Catching Ginny, he looked around at the storm. "War?" His eyes widened at the voice and he looked around. "Everyone! War is back. Are you guys hearing that?" Ginny called out. "War, you're returned." A deep voice rumbled, and suddenly a large spectral whale appeared swimming through the rain. "Bake Kujira." Garp turned around and saw a beautiful woman with a dress made of the sea and a crown upon her head. "Amphitrite?" "Who are they, Garp?" Fisher Tiger called out. Gazing upon them struck him with a sense of familiarity. "Will you sing with us again, War?" A group of ladies floated out of the waves, Garp recognizing them as the ladies of the lake. Heads of wolves attached to tentacles broke from the opposite side of the ship, and from where they connected appeared a little girl in a dress. "Yes, Yumi spoke of a song you never got to sing. Will you sing it for us?" Scylla, the adopted sister of Charybdis, asked with a wide smile. Hundreds of spirits appeared, all eyes on Garp. "Please sing for us, War. We have missed your voice," Bake Kujira begged for all of the spirits. "We have missed you, my friend. Please open your soul to us again and let us fill the air with song." The yokai of despair floated in front of Garp, his eyes warm in a wide smile. Garp couldn't help the smile that spread across his face. "Spirits of the seas, of course you're the ones managing the storm. Bake, I open my soul to all of you." Garp respectfully bowed to them all. "It would be my pleasure to sing the song that has been caged away for so long, to sing with all of you again as we did when we recreated the tides with Charybdis and Tiamat." Bake Kujira floated towards him. "Let our souls connect, so may sing in harmony." The tip of the whale's mouth touched Garp, and beautiful colors exploded out. More spirits appeared around them, cheering as the colors reached out, connecting them all. They began to glow, their spectral forms changing just slightly, giving them the appearance of being alive again. The colors then shot out into the clouds and to the seas. Egghead Island. Music's head perked up and she looked around. "Huh? Is something the matter?" Vegapunk asked as he put the final touches on a special equation of his. Music's eyes lit up in glee, the festival of the reborn tides. She shot to her feet and ran out into the pouring rain. "It's happening again. Come on, you need to see this." Impel down. "I don't know what to tell you, Warden Magellan," the guard shrugged. "All of the snails just stopped responding to us." "Fix it, we can't leave the prison so vulnerable," Magellan ordered. The granting wish. At that very moment, across the world, all of the snails ceased to listen to any commands given to them, tuning into a frequency only they could hear. The laughter of a child echoed out from the snails for all to hear. "Hee-hee-hee-hee-ha, fee-fi-fo-fum," Scylla's voice echoed out. "I rule the seas of the pirate scum." The ladies of the lake sang out, pulling Luffy's attention to the melody. "What do we do with a drunken sailor? Don't have a longboat or a rusty razor, toss him in the drink and watch him sink, where dead men lay there, ha ha ha, dead men lay there." The rest of the spirits joined in, and others let themselves be seen by the people of the world. The granting wish was completely surrounded by them, the dancing dead. She was the captain's daughter. Garp began to sing with passion, causing Sengoku and Tsuru's eyes to widen in shock. It had been so long since he sang like this, they had forgotten the power that his voice held behind it. Sea salt in her blood, born on the high sea waters, Garp had made this song with Yumi's life completely at the forefront. He had tried to sing it at her funeral, but he hadn't the strength. Rose like a rising flood, her skin tough as stone, with a fire in her bones. More spirits appeared, dancing to the music as colors swirled around them. She's a lone wolf water rogue. When the deep sea's shaken, and moonlight's blazing, from Garp's heart flowed out a beautiful red that flitted around his crew. Calypso sails, she sails alone. Fisher Tiger felt a strange comfort from the color, of the warmth of his home that he felt when he managed to break free of his chains. Heart racing, destiny chasing. The only way to describe the feeling for any of the crew was that of finally being able to rest after their hardships, of going home to those they love. Calypso sails, she sails alone. The spirits cheered, "Fee-fi-fo-fum-ha, A skeletal pirate jumped from the sails and danced around Garp, Davy Jones raising a cup to him before jumping away. Heave hi ho hum ha. Bound for the phantom shadows. Just as it was when he did this as Eve, Garp could feel the thousands of spirits dancing around the world, shifting the tides, moving the sea as the colors illuminated them through the storm. Nami looked at them in wonder, feeling a connection she could not explain. The light on the night is clear, the beat in her chest is vengeance, as constellations steer, fee fi fo fum. Luffy danced in the rain to the song, laughing his heart out. Usopp danced on the beach, the waves moving against his legs. Zoro and Kuina laughed as they dueled in the rain, creating their own dance. Sanji tapped his foot to the rhythm as he brought food out to the Barides guests. Her on through the fire as she burns through the tide, heave hi ho hum. Robin hummed to the tune as she continued to read. Chopper pranced in the rain, the droplets glowing like cherry blossoms. Frankie partied with his family, the fun spreading to all of Water 7 as Kaku and Khalifa danced with Icebug. Brook laughed as he added his violin to the melody, enjoying its addition even if, at least as far as he knew, only he could hear its addition. Jinbe laughed at the melody, clapping along as the Sun Pirates danced. There's nowhere that you can hide. Garp had never felt more alive as he sang with the spirits. His joy was infectious as his crew started to dance as well. When the deep sea's shaken, and moonlight's blazing, Bake Kujira let water explode from his blowhole, fusing several of the colors into a rainbow that wrapped around the ship. Calypso sails, she sails alone. Amphitrite grabbed Belmere and spun around with her, pulling the helmswoman into the whirlpool of emotions. Heart racing, destiny chasing. Calypso sails, she sails alone. Fee fi fo fum. Several massive dragons broke from the seas and circled around, the dragon kings of the four seas from the Chinese pantheon. Heave hi ho hum, oh yeah. Fee fi fo fum. The colors connecting Garp to the spirits glowed brightly as they began to near the end of the song. She sails alone, heave hi ho hum ha hoo ha. The waters in front of Fusha village shifted and shot up. When the deep sea's shaken, and moonlight's blazing, it began to take a defined shape as something similar appeared in front of Dragon's ship. Calypso sails, she sails alone, heart racing, destiny chasing. And for the first time, Calypso sails, she sails alone. They looked upon the face of Yumi, Dragon's mother, Luffy's grandmother. A face that screamed fierceness, hair flowing in the wind, eyes full of love, and a smile just like Luffy stretched wide across her face. Fee fi fo fum ha heave hi ho hum ha she sails alone. Garp slammed his foot against the deck and spun around, facing his crew with a giant smile. Fee fi fo fum, I rule the seas of the pirate scum, ha ha. Heave hi ho hum ha she sails. The colors exploded once more out of Garp as the song ended and he stood there breathing heavily, but with joy heavy in his heart. The spirits let out loud cheers. We need to do another song. Again. Scylla smiled widely. Yes, but the festival requires Garp's other half to do so, Amphitrite reminded her. Yes. Let us do this tradition the proper way. Ao Guang roared as the other spirits joined in. They all zoomed past the ship towards the island. Garp looked to the clouds with his eyes closed, basking in the feeling of everything. I have missed this so much. That was amazing. Ginny yelled out, Kuma tiredly collapsing behind her due to all the dancing she had gotten him to do. Tom laughed, such beauty, I've never seen anything like it before. Alvia looked at the spirits fleeing to the island. Garp, why did they call you War? Bogard ruffled his wings to shake the water off. The way they looked at you, what exactly did you do in your first life, Garp? With a sigh Garp shook his head, should have known it would be revealed at some point. The truth is dash, suddenly music began to play from the island, a single strum of a guitar cutting through the air. More waterspouts appeared around the world, shifting into Yumi as the spirits raised their hands in celebration. No, I've done wrong. Garp's eyes slammed wide open at the oh-so-familiar voice. I left your heart torn, is that what devils do? The crew could feel the waves pushing the ship towards the island. Where only fools go, I shook the angel in you. Each waterspout began to sing, the very sea glowing brightly, fluctuating to the rhythm. Now I'm rising from the ground, rising up to you. Garp shakily turned around to look at the island. Tsuru and Sengoku began to tear up as they heard the song, not understanding how it was possible. Filled with all the strength I found, there's nothing I can't do. Standing atop the massive cliff was a figure, surrounded by the spirits as she sang. I need to know now, can you love me again? The sea swirled around the island as a massive dragon, Tiamat, broke through the surface. I need to know now, can you love me again? A massive beast appeared opposite Tiamat, bearing resemblance to an anglerfish but with 10 mouths all over its body. Charybdis had joined. I need to know now, can you love me again? As the ship entered into the eye of the storm, Garp could see her dancing on the cliff like an absolute fool, yet she didn't give a damn what people thought. I need to know now, can you love me again? Can you love me again? In tandem with the waterspouts, Yumi leaned forward with her hand over her heart, in an apologetic bow. It's unforgivable, I stole and burnt your soul, is that what demons do? Her blue hair, as bright as sapphires, flowed behind her like a river as she stepped forward, closer to the cliff's edge. They rule the worst of, destroy everything, they bring down angels like you. I could never hate you. Garp's voice was painfully soft, his eyes tearing up as he looked at her. Yumi stepped closer to the cliff's edge. Now I'm rising from the ground, rising up to you. She held her hand out to him, and despite the distance, Garp could never forget what she looked like when she was crying. He hated to see it, the way she was shaking yet fighting to keep a smile that he knew she had. Filled with all the strength I found, there's nothing I can't do. I need to know now, can you love me again? I need to know now. She was at the cliff's edge, both husband and wife shaking as they looked at each other, no matter the distance, always finding the other's gaze. Can you love me again? Can you love me again? Can you love me again? Yumi stepped off the cliff and began the long fall to the sea below. Bogard got ready to fly to her, but Garp beat him to it as he jumped towards his wife. I told you once, I can't do this again, oh Lord. Both of them held their hands out to each other, crying their hearts out. I told you once, I can't do this again, oh Lord. Their hands met and they twirled in the air into a tight hug, the waterspouts growing to reflect them. I need to know now, can you love me again? Yumi looked into Garp's eyes, searching for the answer. I need to know now, can you love me again? I need to know now. The two leaned closer together as the sea burst forth, catching the falling couple in a bubble and holding them there. Can you love me again? She grabbed onto his shoulders and lifted herself up so she was eye level with him. Can you love me again? Garp smiled as he cried, only able to nod his head, but that was all that she needed. Can you love me again? Can you love me again? They leaned forward and kissed, pure blue exploding out of them. The bubble floated back up to the cliff and gently placed them down. Hey my big kitty cat, I've missed you so much. Yumi booped his nose with hers. What? Garp struggled to find the words. What are the odds? To fall in love again? Stronger than either of us could ever know, but I couldn't care less. She pulled him down as she got back to the ground and aggressively kissed him. So long as we are together in any capacity, I will be happy. Egghead Island. Music held his hands up as the colors swirled around her, coalescing into 3 shapes. 3 devil fruits fell onto the ground in front of him. Last time it only created the tremor fruit, now we have 3 times the devil fruits. Vegapunk looked at the devil fruits in wonder. What was that, music? The ritual that created the first ever devil fruit, a ritual of complete love. Music smiled widely. Ocean and war have reunited at long last. Sin, that was... Tsuru stared at where the water construct had been as the storm faded away. That was Yumi. How is that possible? Sengoku shook his head. I don't know, nothing about this lines up with any devil fruit that I know of, not even if they were combined. And how many know what Yumi's singing voice sounded like? You, me, Garp, Kong is dead, so few and most of them are dead. It's only the 3 of us now, Tsuru's mind raced. The Rise fruit is one of the few fruits Garp would eat, but Yumi was cremated on a funeral boat. Even a hair would have faded away by now, blood expired, anything that could have been from Yumi might not have worked here. What could be the limits of the fruit? Whatever this was, it's got Garp written all over it. Sengoku stood up and walked into the village. We should get going, I just dash. A sharp pain shot through Sengoku's head and he stumbled. Fuck. Sengoku, are you oh dash? Tsuru suddenly vomited. What? Dad. Razananti grabbed Sengoku as he gripped his head tightly in pain. Siddhartha Gautama? I thought your name was always Buddha. You used to be a prince? You. Sengoku could hear a laugh as those words spoke. You're the exact opposite of a Prince Buddha. Wahaher. Those slain will be avenged, and from the blood we spill we will give rise to something better in Vidya. Tsuru stumbled to the ground as she gripped her head. Now come on, the others are waiting for us. Everyone, I'm sorry all of our deaths have come. Forgive me for not fighting harder, but I won't let Cthulhu undo our work. I invoke Dash. Sengoku and Tsuru let out twin gasps. Sengoku rolled over and vomited into the grass as Tsuru shakily got back to her feet. How long? Rosie? Sengoku wiped his mouth clean and got back to his feet. I'm okay. Must have been something we ate. We just need a moment. Go make sure the kids don't do something that attracts any Marines. Rosinante hesitated for a moment before leaving. Are you there, Nvidia? Buddha? What the actual fuck is going on? One moment I'm dying and then fucking reincarnation bullshit. Tsuru cursed. Hundreds of lives, and Eve wakes up first without any of us there to help. I'm fucking done. Where's Squidface? I'm going to make takoyaki out of him. Noted. Sengoku dragged a hand down his face. Holding out his other hand, a portal opened, and he grabbed a Kakura staff and wrenched it out as it slowly rose. We won't be able to find Garp and refer to him as such until we're around better company. But Dragon is another story. We help him and we have a better chance of figuring out what Garp knows and what is going on. Tsuru held her hand out and a sword staff with a set of scales hanging from it quickly flew through the air and stopped in her grip. It glowed for a moment and transformed into a rifle, a blade coming from the underside and the scales hanging behind it acting as a balancer. Fine by me. Let's go tell the kids. Sabo. Stay with me. Rosinante's terrified yell caused the both of them to run into the village. Sabo was bleeding from one of his eyes, the smell of smoke wafting off of him and his burned clothes. Those damn nobles. Ace cursed as he turned to run back into Goa to exact vengeance, but Tsuru grabbed his shoulder. Don't try to dash. Ace's eyes widened in shock. Tsuru's face was terrifyingly blank as Sengoku walked past her and over to Sabo. Just point to whoever is responsible for this. I'll handle them, kid. Tsuru walked towards Goa, her knuckles white as she gripped her divine weapon tightly. The scales are rusty. It's time to weigh a soul again after so long. And this damned kingdom is ripe with plenty for a picking. Sengoku examined Sabo's wound. His eye can be saved. Go get the medkit. Rosinante ran into Makino's bar as Sengoku held Sabo close. I hate lying to him like that, but I'll make it a truth. Carefully putting his hand over Sabo's eye, it let out a comforting glow. Moving his hand away, Sengoku let out a sigh of relief. Good, he'll just have a scar, but he'll still be able to see out of it. Handing him over to Rosinante, Sengoku stood back up and looked to the sky. Heimdall, get down here. The world froze around them as Sky appeared next to Rosinante. A repeat of the old timeline, but still far better. Who called me? Sky looked around before his eyes landed on Sengoku. Sengoku? You're still Dash. His eyes landing on the Kakura, all of Sky's thoughts halted. Buddha? Heimdall, watch over them for me. I need to go make sure Tsuru doesn't get caught. And then we'll be talking. Sengoku slammed his staff on the ground and Sky was pushed into an alleyway by a shockwave as time resumed. Rosie, I'm going to make sure Ace gets back here safely. Wrap the injury, change the bandages as needed, and it should heal properly. Tsuru sked as she and Ace walked into Goa. Whoever stopped time is going to get a boot to the head. Ace pointed at a noble laughing with her friends. That's Sabo's mother did it. Ace, however, is pointing at the noble next to her. Must be the latest husband candidate for her. Run back to the village and keep the other kids from doing anything. Sabo's going to need you all right now. Ace almost argued, but Tsuru patted his head. You've done enough, I'll make sure retribution is had. Ace tried to argue again, but he suddenly heard Luffy crying and immediately ran back to Fuchsia. Tsuru nodded and jumped up. Wings briefly appeared on her back and propelling her up to the rooftops. Giving a quick check around the area, she kneeled down and took aim. Finger on the trigger, she took a breath, held it, and as she released it, fired. The noble gained a new hole and the others began to scream. An orb appeared on one of the scales and then a feather appeared on the other. Firing 3 more times, Tsuru took out more nobles, more orbs appearing on the scale. Begin judgment. Tsuru stood back up as the scales began to shift, the souls against the feather. With a flap of her wings, she appeared in the woods outside of Goa. Did you think I'd be caught? Looking at Sengoku, she raised an eyebrow. We have been out of use with our powers. Sengoku shrugged. Sabo will keep his eye. We should get going before Goa locks down. The feather won out over the souls and they vanished into the rifle. I would prefer being able to keep hunting here, Tsuru shrugged, but knowing Garp, things will be shaken up again soon. With Garp. Garp and Yumi refused to leave the other's embrace, not wanting the blissful moment to end. How many of my lives? How many times? Garp asked, breathless. I learned we were eternal soulmates when we chose to become gardens. Yumi tightened her hug on Garp, always drawn to each other in some way. I have loved you in every life, and when I had the chance to reincarnate and wake you up, I took it. Together, and even someone else joined us. Yumi giggled as she crawled up Garp and sat on his shoulders. Mrs. Yumi? Bogard asked, surprised and holding back his own tears. Hi Bogart, it's so good to see you, Yumi smiled. You keeping my kitty cat out of trouble? Bogart huffed as he rubbed his tears away, as if that's even possible. He is trouble. Yumi giggled as she looked over the crew. Such a wonderful crew. Now let's get that fruit to work. She pointed and Garp walked towards the middle of the island. Tiamat sighed. Finally, maybe she'll stop pining. Charybdis scoffed, as if nothing else it's gonna get worse, 'cause now she can visit him and go on dates and everything that'll entail. We're gonna be hearing about dinners, and I swear if we end up hearing about whatever they do in the bedroom, I'm jumping into the ether and hoping for a quick release. Both of them shivered. Still nice to see War back. Yeah, I think that means the others will be back? Shin and Bellona were nice to talk to, Tiamat wondered. Cleodna is back, but she didn't have the same oath as the others. The crew looked back and forth between the minor gods as they continued talking. Are you getting any of this? Kazan asked Alvia. Not a lick, Alvia answered honestly. Ginny looked at the crystal-clear sky. Garp is a god, isn't he? One of the top, Charybdis confirmed. Scourge against evil, defender of all, defeater of history's greatest warriors, and 100 other titles. In short though, Garp is the eternal war god, long thought dead and gone from this world, now returned. Eternal war? Fisher Tiger tilted his head. Just how fearsome was his first life? Tiamat chuckled. We started calling them war because they kept declaring war on how many people? I stopped keeping track after the 1000th declaration, Charybdis shrugged, but it was easily 500 times that. Yeah, that's Garp, the crew all said. Am I that predictable? Garp laughed alongside Yumi. Yumi tousled Garp's hair. You have your habits you just can't get rid of. Remember your life as Roy Mustang? Or Levi Ackerman? Every life you waged war against your enemies. Yumi let out a loud laugh. Osioyoyoyo. Wahahaha. Garp laughed alongside her. Now how could I not? Don't go forgetting about my time as Jonathan Joestar or Toph Beifong. It's just what my soul is like apparently. Guion stared at the devil fruit in Garp's hand. Is that the dark fruit? Garp gave a nod as he held it up for everyone else to see. Guion took her sword off of her waist and held it out to the couple. Here, feed the fruit to Gonpyra. Yumi held her hand out and Garp gave her the fruit. Taking the sword, he examined it. It's in excellent condition, should make it easier, right? Yup. Yumi nodded as they walked towards the ship. You all can relax here on the island. There's plenty of food to have, enjoy. She gave a wave with a wide smile. Sarah's looked at the couple as they shared a laugh. Captain is really happy. I don't think I've ever seen him smile that wide. Bogart nodded. He lost so much of himself when Mrs. Yumi died. He almost left the Marines as her due date drew close. Kazan jerked up. What? It took a time-traveling sentient wish made by his grandson to make him leave. I never got the chance to meet her. Kazan briefly looked at Alvia before returning his attention to Bogart. Did she really have the power to make him leave the Marines? Bogart sat on a nearby rock with a heavy sigh. None of you saw him, how happy he was and what came after her death. If she needed, he would lift the weight of the world onto his shoulders. Bogart chuckled. Name an impossible task, and if it was what she wanted, needed, or even just had a passing interest, he would do it in a heartbeat just so he could hear her laugh, see her smile, listen to her sing. And she would do the same without a word needing to be said, a thought had, or even the twitch of an eye. Their love for each other. Wiping tears away, he shook his head. Garp became the dog of the Marines because of her death, because Kong murdered her. Bogart's thoughts turned back to those terrifying days when Garp first began his hunt for Yumi's killer. Several years ago. Roger walked across the deck of the Oro Jackson with a heavy heart. Did you hear Rayleigh? Rayleigh nodded. Yeah, Yumi died. Apparently it was a couple of weeks ago. Worried about the oath. Thumbing at the hilt of his sword, Rayleigh put the newspaper down. Bet we'll be seeing Lin soon. She's been expanding her territory as an emperor and we're drifting close to her dash. A winged man crashed into the deck with a yell. Roger. All right, who did you piss off this time? Scopper asked. Roger. Bogart, his disguise thrown away, stood up with his sword drawn. Garp, he, poison, angry? What energy he had faded as he collapsed. Whoa there, Lunarin. Roger caught him before Bogart could hit the deck. Where is Garp, who poisoned him? Not him. Mrs. Yumi. Bogart couldn't hold to consciousness any longer. The eyes of the Roger pirates widened at the reveal. Rayleigh, have our course altered to wherever Garp has ended up, Roger coldly ordered, feeling his anger fighting against the chains he put upon it. For a month they sailed, Bogart leaving once he was healthy to look elsewhere. All that they found was death and destruction. Hundreds of pirates torn apart by a rapid animal. Heads of infamous poisoners stuck on spikes for all to see. Not even Marines were safe. All that sold confiscated poison, weapons, anything that could have allowed for Yumi's death to happen. Garp was no longer in control of himself. That was what Roger hoped for. Because if his friend was in control, what would happen as the situation escalated? Docking at the latest pirate hideout, Roger could still hear screams. Jumping off his ship, he ran into the island, finding Garp tearing through pirates like a knife through butter. Unsheathing his sword Ace, Roger flung himself into the battle. Garp. He tried to reach his friend as he cut down the last pirate. Garp ripped the only building in half and grabbed the poisoner. Roger stood back as the pirate was interrogated and then decapitated. Garp immediately began to walk away, but Roger stood in front of him. Garp, stop. Get out of my way. When was the last time you slept? Roger yelled back at him. You are caked in blood, sweat, mud. I don't see a speck of your uniform. The bags beneath your eyes, your hair and beard are unkempt and tangled. What does it matter? Yumi's killer is still out there. So is your son. Roger punched Garp across the face. What would she say? Your child is there without either of his parents. Are you going to abandon him? Garp panted as the bloodlust cleared from his eyes. D-Dragon. Tearing up, Garp fell to his knees, Roger following behind him. Garp gripped Roger's coat tightly as he finally wept. I don't know what to do without her. I had a ship, we were going to dash. Garp devolved into shaking sobs. She dash. Roger hugged Garp tightly. Let it out, just let it out. Present. Garp killed close to 50,000 pirates and 1,000 corrupt Marines after Mrs. Yumi's death. Bogard leaned back. After Roger got him to calm down, he went on an extended leave to raise dragon for the next 15 years, still doing some minor work. But he fell deeper into the world government's propaganda without someone who could properly ground him in reality like Mrs. Yumi could. Belmere leaned forward from where she was sitting. Do you think Dragon could have broken him out? Bogard hummed in thought. I don't think so. Garp struggled raising him, and that strained their relationship, especially as he became more invested in the Marines. They care about each other deeply, but they have only recently started to mend their relationship. In the granting wish, Garp hummed as he got out some tools in the kitchen. You scared me, you know, Yumi said softly. You were so entrenched in the Marines and the world government, going against the very nature of your soul, I thought you were going to be lost. I'm sorry, Garp apologized sadly. I don't have any excuse for that. You revealed so many truths to me and I ignored all of them. I wouldn't blame you if you fell out of love with me for a while there. Almost did a few times, Yumi admitted with a heavy heart. She hopped off the countertop and cut the dark fruit into pieces. I almost broke our laws at least 100 times with everything you did and ignored. I wanted to stop you and put you back on the right path so much, but I was stuck watching. Garp gently took the pieces of the fruit and put them in a bowl where he began to crush them. I don't know what I would have become if Luffy's wish didn't approach me. I was trying to get Luffy, Sabo, and Ace to become Marines, force them to. I thought that all I had to do to fix the Marines was put good people into the ranks, that it was enough to change things. That I could somehow fix things from the inside. I was a fool. The both of them began to carefully cover the blade in the paste of the devil fruit. Yumi gently elbowed him, but you still managed to break free. Better late than never, right? Garp carefully put Gonpyra into its scabbard and carefully placed it on the countertop. You're probably right, you usually are, Garp nodded softly. The couple sat down in the mess hall, enjoying the other's embrace. For the night, before the Constellation crew had to head back out, the couple would bask in the other's presence. In several ways. Garp sat at the platform at the front of the ship, looking out at the blue beautiful ocean, knowing now that Yumi was looking back at him. Sun and many of the others went into the cycle of reincarnation. What convinced them? Garp wondered out loud, his mind turning through his various past lives. I've been involved in plenty of events that could have drawn their attention. Might have been when I was forced to perform human transmutation as Roy Mustang, but there were plenty of other similar events. What are you thinking, Captain? Saris came and sat down next to him. Nothing really important, just a curiosity, Garp shrugged. We'll be taking care of a catalyst, and someone that can be incredibly dangerous if not given the proper caution. What's a catalyst? Garp hummed. They are individuals who with every action they take will cause events that affect or will affect the entire world. It's rare for them to be needed to be killed, but something about this one has caused the others to mark him for an early death. Does that mean catalysts are typically good people? Saris tilted her head as she looked around, still keeping a watch despite her relaxing. No, it's typically diverse in morals, Garp explained, which is why it is weird he's marked for death. There's something we haven't been told about him beyond basic details. The Moby Dick. Teach listened to the rest of the crew talking, contenting himself to continue eating his cherry pies. Hey Teach. Marco called out, you know of any more of Pop's booze that he has hidden? Didn't you throw it all into the sea? Teach asked. Thought I did, but he's still getting drunk, Marco grumbled. Teach laughed. Zehaha. Pop sure is one stubborn alcoholic. I haven't seen anything, but I'll keep an eye out. Thanks. Oh, and Thatch has some more cherry pies for you, Marco said as he left. Teach got up and quickly walked towards the kitchen. Thatch. I'm here for my pies. Thatch snickered. You and your love for cherry pies. The day we find a cherry pie you don't like is the day the world ends. Grabbing the pies, Teach headed to his room. Locking the door, he opened his devil fruit encyclopedia and began to read it. No signs of the dark fruit, it's still out there despite everything. But that bastard Adam made one of his storms. Just what did he do? Egghead Island. Vegapunk examined the 3 devil fruits carefully, almost reverently. These were created with the original method. Why has it not been used? The energies within, the melodies they sing, they are so at balance. The power within is immense. Music nodded. The tremor fruit was the first and only fruit created with the original method. Its power was then increased when War transformed it into a weapon, which she then did to 2 devil fruits, the soul fruit and the fish fruit model Azure Dragon. The process has been changed and transformed over the years, but the original always was the most effective. The issue was that it required the power of change that only a war could bring and the life-giving properties of water, and war has only just returned to us. Can you identify the identities of the fruits? Vegapunk hummed as he examined one of the fruits. This is a zoan. I can hear the rumbling of an animal within. It relates to the water. A whale? Indeed, specifically this is the mythical zoan, the whale fruit model Bake Kujira, the yokai of despair. You've gotten better at hearing the melodies? Music smirked. Keep going? Yes. Vegapunk placed the mythical zoan down and picked up the next. Listening, he nodded. This is a logia. It's incredibly warm. Curious, despite it feeling warm, it is only surface level. The deeper I delve it becomes colder, as though the heat burns so fierce it's cold. Is it safe to assume this a legendary logia? An alternative of the flame fruit. Correct, the legendary logia flame fruit model Cold Flame. Vegapunk picked up the final fruit and squinted at it. This is a paramecia. Compared to how the others sounded, this is a regular paramecia instead of a special paramecia. That sound, a child from my hometown created a guitar with rubber bands as the strings. This is the gum fruit. Good job, you even figured out the name. Music grinned widely. Seems the melodies of the mythical and legendary fruits are a bit more complicated for you, but you used them to better identify and you properly guessed the paramecia was a regular one. With these proper examples, do you think you're ready to start making color variants of logias? Truly? But we have only just began work on albino versions of the mythical zoans with the Azure Dragon. Where did you take that one? Music briefly reflected on how she had sneakily replaced the Azure Dragon replica at Punk Hazard with the albino Azure Dragon fruit, all while making out with Monet. Just putting it where it will help the most people. And while we have only just started on the mythical and ancient zoans, it is time for you to branch out to one of the other types. Can't let you become stagnant. Vegapunk put the gum fruit down carefully. What will be done with these 3? I'll put them into circulation. Wherever they end is where they are destined to be. Music waved his hand and with the strum of a guitar the 3 devil fruits disappeared. Now let's start with the snow fruit. Let's make the color variant green. The Moby Dick. Teach made notes of the albino devil fruit users he had heard of, as well as one he had secretly assassinated. They are real devil fruits. It's been quite some time since the last one was made with the flame fruit. I could sense the albino lion go into circulation. Is that blasted musician planning something? A knock at the door had Teach quickly hiding his devil fruit encyclopedia. Hey Teach, Vista greeted with a smile. Thatch wanted the pie tins back, he's getting ready to clean the dishes. Oh zihahaha. Teach laughed. I got sidetracked with reading this book I found on my last raid, I forgot to bring them back. Grabbing the closest book with a bookmark in it, he held it up. Vista didn't look too close at it as he walked into the room, not noticing the small layer of dust on the cover. Tell Thatch I'm sorry for me, Teach requested. Of course, my friend, Vista nodded as he walked out with the tins. Teach's smile fell. At least close the door, he grumbled as he closed the door. Sitting back down, he ran a hand down his face with a sigh. I need to get some shelves. Maybe, but with a ship like the Moby the current setup is more ideal. Rolling his eyes, he looked at the bed with a flat expression. Shut up, Teach, the body snarked at the spirit. I'm the one currently in control and you know you're outvoted. Teach chuckled. Yeah, I know, Bog. But it's about time for me to take over anyway. You need to rest. Give me a few minutes, then I'll hand over control. Bog waved his hand as he turned back to their desk and got the devil fruit encyclopedia out. I just want to make some more notes on the new devil fruits we've heard of. That musician is planning something. Whatever part of their plan we can figure out, the better. Fine, but don't overdo it. We don't want to get caught mid-swap. We almost ended up having to kill Jozu because of that. With that quick reminder, Teach vanished. I know that coward, Bog huffed as he started to jot down more of his notes. Once we have the dark fruit, we'll be able to properly access my godly powers. Then we don't have to worry about being caught or anything. Edward Newgate sighed forlornly as he watched Marco lock away the alcohol they had gotten from the crew that tried to challenge his position as emperor. Just one dash. I will make you watch as I burn it all to nothing if you finish that. Marco cut him off. Edward sighed as he walked away. How can booze be bad? It's booze. Marco dragged his hand down his face in frustration. I am not even going to humor that with an answer. Zehahaha. Teach laughed as he walked past. You better use sea stone so Pops doesn't get past the lock. He gave a wave, Marco not noticing the dark look in Teach's eyes that were quickly masked as other members of the crew turned the corner. I hate the fact that I actually have to consider that, Marco groaned as he walked after Edward. Out on deck, Edward sat down in his chair and let his daughters give him his daily checkup. What's in the news today, Thatch? The Constellation crew got new bounties. Garp is at 508 trillion berries, the others all got rounded up and increased by 1 billion. Yggdrasil, Orchard and Apollo have starting bounties of 500 million. Fisher Tiger's bounty was reinstated and increased 800 million, and the doll that seems to now be sailing with them has been given a starting bounty of 300 million. Morgans is saying there will no doubt be an increase as their actions continue, and when the identity of the three masked and the doll are revealed, he estimates their bounties will jump into the billions. Thatcher handed Edward the bounties and returned to the newspaper. As for the news, Kaido just took 4 islands near Wano for his territory, Big Mom took 3 and some of her kids have gotten married, Shanks claimed 1 new island, Hancock has claimed 5 islands in Paradise and has consolidated her control over the South Blue. Some promotions in the Marines, sightings of new pirate crews, announcements for some new books, everything else is the usual. Edward nodded. All right. Now Ludash, he was cut off by a snail ringing. One of his kids answered it for him. Who is this? How did you get this number? Edward. Garp's yell rang out. I'm coming to kick your ass, you adoption addict. Find me at Rising Mountain and Beard. The snail was hung up and the crew was left in silence. Until Edward let out a loud laugh. Gururara. Finally I can fight him. Set a course for Rising Mountain immediately. He stood up with a wide smile and grabbed his bicento. Kick my ass? Come and try, Garp, come and try. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Support the writer. Don't forget to like, sub, share and donate for more videos.